So you guys remember when Feminist Frequency crowdfunded their like the video game series, right?
Of course.
And there was the backlash from a bunch of frustrated boys. There was that documentary. Do you remember the documentary that was like trying to expose?
Yeah, I remember that was a thing, but then it splintered or something.
Yeah. So one of those guys was Davis Arini. He's the bald dude who, like, in all of his videos, he had like a skull, like a model skull.
Oh, yes.
He would like move around in the background, so it was like always behind him, and he always had a glass of bourbon. Yeah, so
it was the most like performative like bullshit.
Yeah, so
like.
So there was this like, when the documentary split and everybody was like, what the hell are these jokers doing? Like, you raised, like, presumably some dollars. I can't remember what the final tally was, but it was embarrassingly lower than Feminist Frequency's efforts. But It was still enough to, like, make a low-budget YouTube documentary. And Davis Arini went off on this fucking tirade at one point in time where he was like, look, I'm a professional at this. I know what I'm doing. I'm a pro at editing. I know all the keyboard shortcuts. It was just so fucking like, okay.
Oh my.
So yeah, Austin, I know that you can press R to record. I know all the keyboard shortcuts.
And now you know how we got to this point.
Yes.
The prestige.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yursky and Johnny. I know all the keyboard shortcuts, Maloney.
All of them.
Yeah. I have like a bunch of things because like we weren't able to do it last week. So instead of having like 2 things, I have 4.
Yeah, I had matter exiting my body in a way that is not normally supposed to happen last week. So I apologize for people who are going through funk withdrawal.
Yeah, and this funk is going to be posted late because I'm going out of town almost immediately after I finish editing Renegade Cut tomorrow. So, like, sorry.
It's all lies. We're really just trying to create like a gap in the market so you guys will value us more. Is really it. We've embraced capitalism, is what I'm trying to say. This is going to be a very different episode from other word funks.
Yeah. We're trying to withdraw our affection to make you work for it. Mm-hmm. It's like, ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the dentist system?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do to our audience.
Yeah, we are the tasty treats.
We don't think you all are clingy enough, and we really would like to rectify that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to spend the next 90 minutes just, like, negging you. Because, like, seriously, audience, did you shower today?
What'd you do to your hair? It's interesting.
It's different.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my first thing. I may have met a murderer.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, not like in the act, like hands soaked in blood, and with a wild look in his eye. And a thirst for revenge or something like that. And
this is just like something that I've been led to believe from, decades of pop culture. At some point in time, did he raise his hands up to his face in like a kind of a half-clenched rictus, and then like look up to the sky and scream, "What have I done?"
That he did scream something.
Oh,
I mean, so you're not far off. This happened in a 7-Eleven. I went into the 7-Eleven.
The preferred convenience store of murderers, as I understand it.
Yeah, I went into the 7-Eleven to buy a sandwich, which is a crime all on its own. And as soon as I walked in, there's a man talking on his phone, as people do. And then he says into the phone, "They charged me with murder." And in my mind, I'm like, first of all, like, sandwich can wait. So there's that. Second of all,
I like your priorities, Leon.
Yeah, I want to know more about this, because then it could be a story on WordFunk. Unfortunately, I've begun to, sort my life around having a good story.
Content, Leon. You need the content.
Yeah, my life needs to be interesting now, but I know. So I had, a couple options. I thought I could either, follow this guy around trying to learn more throughout the convenience store, or I could just ask him, "Oh, really? Who died?" But I decided that I'm not an idiot, so instead what I did was,
because then he'd say, "You, time traveler Dave, what's up?" and shoot you.
What I instead decided to do was stand a comfortable distance away from him, but close enough that I could hear everything he was still saying.
Right. So you pretended to be really interested in beef jerky for 2 minutes.
I was just really invested in what kind of Sprite I wanted.
You did the Assassin's Creed thing, where you just push the blend in button and we're very inconspicuously conspicuous, standing in one spot for 10 minutes.
Just those two people just inconspicuously seated on a bench right in the middle of the 7-Eleven.
I'm going to assume that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but I didn't. Basically, the other guy on the phone then took charge of this conversation, so I didn't get much else. But here's why I think he either did it or is kind of blasé about it. He's accepted his fate. I don't know. Because the only other thing I heard him say after exclaiming to the entire 7-Eleven that he's being charged with murder was this: "Well, they can come and charge me. I'll take that charge." That is what he said. So, either he's "Yeah, obviously I did it. I am a murderer. I am the 7-Eleven bandit." Or...
No relation. It's a completely different thing. Everybody calm down.
Or, he could be "Yeah, I am obviously innocent, but whatever. I've already served my time. Come and take me again." Or something. I don't know. I don't know what was up with this, but after he said his second thing, I was like, this is escalating. It's time for my sandwich. And I did. And I had my sandwich. And my Sprite Zero, by the way, I decided on, which is pretty good.
Was he also getting a sandwich?
What kind of sandwich?
I'm not sure what... No, he was invested in this phone call. He wasn't, doing two things at once. He wasn't multitasking, okay, I'm dealing with this murder charge, but also beef.
Because maybe if he was eating gas station sandwiches, perhaps he had already accepted his fate.
Look, sometimes I'm on the road, and it's going to be a long time before I'm home, and I'm I really want to put something into my body right now.
What kind of sandwich was it?
I had an egg salad sandwich.
That's a very Leon answer.
That's I don't know. That's pretty brave from a 7-Eleven.
It's always been fine.
If Leon was I made an egg salad sandwich at home, I'd be no big deal. Leon made an egg salad sandwich.
No, Johnny, I'm sorry, but someone at a 7-Eleven making an egg salad sandwich is way safer than me trying to make my own food. I'm sorry. So let's be very clear about that.
Egg salad though?
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be better if they do it, and it always has been good. This isn't an egg salad sandwich that I got out of a vending machine in a truck stop. I'm talking. This is a fairly well regulated and popular food franchise. So it's
It is a place where they have food.
Yeah, it's not the only thing they have. They also have gas. And, it's fine. But yeah, that unfortunately is the end of the story. I didn't follow up because again, I had things to do. I was mostly there for the food, but then I stayed for the show.
Can I give you my legal analysis of that scenario?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like when he says, "Oh, they're charging me with murder," he's surprised he didn't see it coming. But then, "Oh, they should come and charge me." It makes sense for this to happen. And for me, the disconnect there, or what explains the disconnect, was that he knows someone died, but doesn't think murder is the appropriate charge, so perhaps manslaughter, and he didn't expect it to be murder, and says, "Oh, bring murder charges, I'll beat it." Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not the appropriate charge, and my lawyers are better. Or, and this is something I've talked about on my other show a little bit. Are you guys aware of the concept of felony murder?
Is that different than regular murder?
Yeah. What?
So murder obviously is a felony. So
Okay. I mean, like,
I'm really glad we have you around, Austin.
right. I mean, why? I just assumed that. Wait. How is there a distinction?
Okay, so this is one of those things where law is confusing because all the words are bad.
Right.
Murder is a felony, but there's a different thing called felony murder. I'm sorry, there just is.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, if you're committing a felony, say a bank robbery, and someone dies, from a heart attack, maybe they trip and hit their head on a desk or something. If someone dies while you were in the commission of a felony, you get charged with murder.
So that's felony murder.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So this came up on my other show because the players in my D&D campaign were trying not to do murders, but they were doing crimes, and people died around them because of circumstances.
Right.
To clarify that in the legal system, they should just call those uh-ohs.
He did a big uh-oh. But yeah, so that's the thing that happens sometimes is it's for discouraging felonies, right? You don't want people, you don't want people doing like high stakes, like financial crimes or whatever, in ways that are reckless. This often happens in like car chases, right? I didn't hit anybody, but it's like, yeah, but you were going 100 miles per hour. People were trying to get out of the way, and other people got hit, and someone needs to. It's your fault. You fucked up. Is basically the rationale there. But something like that, or like a manslaughter, where it's like, listen, it was an accident. The guy's super dead. It's not murder, though. Come on.
Yeah.
That's what popped into my head. So.
That I was earlier today. That reminds me, I was watching the new season of Kimmy Schmidt, Unbreakable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bit where they do this, like, they do an episode that's kind of like a fake documentary about John Hamm's character, the Reverend. And the documentary is like, after they found the girls, he was charged with 4 counts of white girl kidnapping and 1 count of oopsie daisy. Because of the Spanish lady.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's.
I had to stop watching that show because it kept doing that kind of shit.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly why I stopped as well. Yeah, we've discussed that, I think,
and it's canceled now, so I guess we won. High five, Leon.
Was it canceled, or did Tina Fey just say we've done enough? Because I was under the impression that it's just over.
No,
she's like, I made all the racist jokes. What else is there to do?
Well, the new season came out like just today. Season 4 came out today.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be the last one.
I've no idea.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what I heard, but maybe I'm an idiot.
Okay.
There's a lot of news. I don't know if we're going to talk about it this week, but speaking of shows getting canceled, that's a thing that's in the news. Are we above that? Are we above that conversation?
I don't think so. I don't think we're above much in this world, Austin.
I feel like it's right up our alley. In fact.
Oh, damn it! I was hoping I would be like, you guys want to talk about this fucking Roseanne thing, and Leon would be like, I'm an intellectual.
No, I was actually, when it happened, I was all about it because it was like shocking to see consequences to being overtly racist this year.
Yeah.
Because usually there's always this like crowd that pops up and says, well, not really, because if you look at it like and you squint, it's not racist. And it's like, okay. And then like the people in power, people with money who can benefit from people who are bad will say, such and such made a mistake, but such and such is rectifying the mistake. But instead what happens was ABC was like, fuck this. And either they were looking for a way out, or like ABC's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
I bet it's a combination of that, and also they're owned by Disney, and they have those Black Panther receipts sitting on their desk right now, and they have to make a choice at this point.
That is a good point. Yeah, I feel like, it's... I'm glad it happened, is the point I'm trying to make.
It happened so fast.
Yes,
is the thing.
I know.
Like I'm so used to shit like this happening, and then like people kind of they look at their bank account, and then they look at the news, and then they look back at their bank account again, and then they release a statement, and then they look at the news, and then they look back at their bank account, and then like a few weeks from now, when everybody's moved on to the next thing, they're like, yeah, we just don't think that our relationship can continue in the way that... Like, I literally... It was like... I opened up my fucking Twitter feed, and it was like, Roseanne Barr said something deeply racist, and then the show was canceled. Like, I did not... There was no one and then the next. The news hit me as one story.
Yeah, same.
Oh. Okay.
Which, I mean, to steal the best joke from Twitter, someone says, it's impossible to know what kind of racism will get you fired and what kind of racism will get you elected president. So... Yeah. It's hard to blame her when maybe she was angling for the other one.
Yeah. A friend of mine on Twitter explaining how quickly this came about. She said, "I heard about the Roseanne thing and took a shower, and I came back and she's gone." Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, like. She said something. I'm not going to repeat the exact wording of it. People have Twitter. She said a horrible, obviously racist thing and really disgusting thing. And then shortly thereafter, she apologized and says, "I'm leaving Twitter." And then someone made a joke. It's like, "Leave TV." And then, of course, she was ousted from TV and returned to Twitter, which really shows you just how sincere that apology was. The latest, we're recording this Wednesday night. The latest today is that she's now blaming it on Ambien.
Yeah.
Look. I'm gonna tell you my Ambien story. A while back, I did have trouble sleeping, oddly enough, and I did get a prescription for Ambien, and it did make me do a weird thing. But here's the thing. That weird thing wasn't based on hundreds of years of oppression. It was just uncharacteristic, a little. And that's it. I was just a little off. Ambien side effects are many. Racism is not listed as one by the Food and Drug Administration.
I gotta tell you, Leon, like, I'm on an SSRI right now, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and just like out of nowhere, I started burning crosses on people's lawns.
It's intense.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even go with casual racism or like looking around to see if there are no black people in the room and saying a bad joke. No, you just went straight for the cross.
Just right for it, Like, I mean, it's such a weird... Like, you'd think they'd have that listed on the side effects.
I mean, it's obviously garbage, and also she's been racist for a really long time, so unless it's time-traveling Ambien, her and Time Travel Dave the Murderer are in on some kind of weird racist murder plot. Fuck her. She sucks. It's, that's all there is to say. This always happens whenever somebody does a bad thing and then there's a consequence. People are like, there's the guy who went on a racist screed in like a Spanish-speaking restaurant or something like that.
Yes, the New York lawyer.
Yeah, and then people are being mean to him, and they're like, has the backlash gone too far? Is society ruled by mob justice? And it's like, there are just so many people who don't get any consequences that when someone does, it freaks everyone out. We also see that with like the Me Too movement. It's like, is it a witch hunt? It's like, we've gotten like 0.01 of the offenders. I think we're fine.
Yeah. This whole thing.
Also, if anything, the social pressure is the only mechanism we have for this. Either everyone gets away with it, or we start throwing people in jail for racism, which I think most people would agree is not how a liberal society should be. So social pressure is actually all we really have.
One of my favorite comments that I saw about the Martin Shkreli trials was somebody was like, obviously the universe is managed by a very sophisticated artificial intelligence, and Martin Shkreli is really just an experiment to see how far prison abolitionists can go.
Yeah. I've had that thought a lot
my.
recently, or I have someone does something terrible, and I'm like, fuck, I hope they rot in jail. And I'm like, wait, I don't know if I believe in jails. Damn it!
Yeah. The worst take that came from the Roseanne thing was everyone saying, well, Bill Maher made a joke about Trump related to an ape, so that is the same thing, so he should be fired. This has multiple levels of dumb. First of all, I'm cool with you firing Bill Maher.
That's
like,
right. Like a bunch of conservatives are like, in response to the firing of Roseanne, we're gonna try and get HBO to cancel Bill Maher.
My entire timeline was Brer Rabbit, I swear to God.
Yeah, like, are you, like, first of all, like, I don't speak for the entire left, but generally speaking, every person who has vaguely similar politics as my own thinks Bill Maher is trash. I don't know a lot of people who defend Bill Maher, like stand for him. Like occasionally he'll say something we'll agree with, and sure, but like I don't really know a lot of like hardcore, let's make sure Bill Maher keeps talking forever fans.
Yeah, he is like what conservatives think leftists are. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the opposite is. Is there like some conservative that's just like so fucked up that other conservatives are like? I would have thought it would have been Trump, but then they endorsed him.
Cernovich?
I would assume. I assume it's Alex Jones, but I don't even know anymore.
Yes.
But the other part of that take is that it's a false equivalency. Bill Maher is saying that Trump, a white guy, has hair similar to an orangutan. The really sickening truth is that when awful racists want to insult black people, they often go for some sort of gorilla analogy or animal, and that is why it is offensive. It's not offensive because Roseanne said, oh, this person is unattractive like an ape. It is because of the racial component to it. There is no racial component to saying Donald Trump has hair that is vaguely reminiscent of an orangutan, because that is not a racial slur towards white people that has ever been established previously, whereas the one that Roseanne said is one that has been established, sadly, for centuries.
Yeah. People don't understand the baggage that comes with that, second verse of Happy Birthday.
Or they do and they don't care. It's just a lot of bad faith stuff, like all the anti-white racism people. Like there's nothing you can say because they're coming from a place of either dishonesty or idiocy. And what do you do with that?
Yeah, it's tough. I encounter these people quite a bit in my comment section. Not people who normally watch my videos, but people who stroll in when I have a hot take. And they're like, who's this guy talking about the whites? I'm white. You must be a self-hating white.
It is just...
What's it like?
Like, it is so amazing that people cannot understand how important context is.
Yeah. Yeah, Roseanne's apology was, she purposefully didn't actually address what she was really saying. And that's kind of what everyone's trying to jump on. It's like, oh, it was bad because of this. No, it was bad because of something else, actually.
She's a bad person who said bad things. This is actually like elementary. We've all tied ourselves up in knots to develop theoretical, philosophical, psychological frameworks to discuss these systems, and it's just like, yo, some people say bad stuff. Be against bad stuff, be for good stuff. It's super easy. Just use your like emotional intuition for once.
Even some notable online conservatives, let's just say, who I will not name, very explicitly said, Roseanne's racist comment is not the hill we want to die on. You should just call it for what it is.
Yeah, like she fucked up and said the quiet part loud. They're like, can we all go back?
She really did. She forgot about dog whistling. Oh well.
It's that whole whoever's responsible take one step forward, and then everybody just kind of like takes a step back, except for that one guy.
Oh my. We could talk about this forever, and we might be. Like we by that I mean racism. But we should
Not
probably
Roseanne, who I don't care about at all, and I resent that I had to spend 10 minutes of my life thinking about her.
I barely even knew the show had come back.
Yeah, it's back. I know.
No,
the
no,
show
Leon, it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. So anyway, I said a thing, and then Austin said a thing. Johnny, if you have a thing, go ahead. If you don't, I have other things.
I have a notepad right here that I've written jam taster on.
It's your business card, Johnny.
But for the life of me, I cannot remember why.
Jam taster? Trump thinking?
No idea. Trump thinking. I do have a couple of things. It's been a long time since we've talked about my penis.
Okay.
Some would say not long enough, but continue.
Let's do it, right? So
I'm sorry, Austin. Nobody has ever seen Johnny's penis and said not long enough.
I know. I was setting you up. I was like, damn, nobody took that bait. That was scrumptious ass bait.
I will have you guys know that I have a very average penis.
Johnny, don't ruin the mystery. Anyway, go ahead and talk about your.
It's quite handsome. Like it's.
Okay. So it has a top hat.
It's about as handsome as penises can get.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Johnny, tell us about your penis news.
Okay, so we have in the past talked about what we now refer to as normal penis, right?
This. Okay.
I love that bit of we've created lore. You guys know about normal penis, right?
This is part of the meat wheel mythos.
Some weeks ago, maybe months, I don't know. We did a deep dive into the concept of erectile functionality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And came to the conclusion that because most men suffer from some kind of erectile, air quote, dysfunction, end air quote, that's really not a dysfunction, and that's actually just normal penis, right? So, the SSRIs I'm on, I had to read a 4-page document about all the things that might happen when I go on an SSRI. You know, abnormal sweating, of which I'm experiencing in strange places, including, but not limited to, the soles of my feet. And drowsiness, don't operate a motor vehicle and, taking alcohol or other inhibitors or something like that might really hit you hard. And one of the things is that I might experience normal penis.
Yeah. So
I am having irregular penis.
Okay.
I'm glad that we can share this. This is a good space.
No, this is just this is weird. Mm-hmm. All right. I have what I would define as a pretty healthy sex drive. For at least a man my age, for a heterosexual man my age, I feel like I have a healthy sex drive. And that has not become inhibited at all. Neither has my ability to sustain an erection. However, for the past 6 weeks, I have been unable to climax.
I've heard about that.
Johnny, you can't tell, but I'm opening my arms wide and saying, welcome.
Yeah, but I mean, Leon, would you describe your sex drive as being healthy, as being regular? I don't know what regular is in this sense.
You're dancing around, trying not to offend me. My sex drive almost doesn't exist. I'm some people would say I'm some shade of asexual. I never really call myself that out loud, mm-hmm. but it's mostly true, I guess.
See, Leon, I'm really horny.
No, I know. My stuff can work. It just doesn't finish, but I'm not really horny. So we're only halfway the same now. Yeah.
It's a whole new world out there for me.
Look,
is what I'm trying to say.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if it's not happening, then don't keep touching yourself.
I'm not
jerk,
freaking out about it or anything like that. It's just weird. Like,
no, I'm just saying,
it's weird for me.
I'm just saying the time you normally use towards masturbating and being with ladies, you can do other things.
Yes, I've been eating a lot of sandwiches recently.
Cool, I guess. I mean, I was thinking of something productive, but I do like sandwiches, so I don't really. No,
my favorite Mexican restaurant has just started delivering, so it's been fucking like beef tongue subs like 24/7, baby.
That's neat. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, that's not bad.
This episode's gonna need a content warning.
Yeah. All I can tell you, Johnny, is like I'm sorry about your junk, but. Like plus side, I get a lot of shit done every day. It's kind of cool. So like that's who I am. I hope that it's not who you are, because apparently you can't do like a Flowers for Algernon thing. Like, what it's like to be like a regular dude with like regular urges and regular orgasms. You don't want to go back. You don't want to go to something else. Whereas for me, this is normal. So I'm sorry about your stuff. Something to ask your doctor about. There's probably some sort of like counter to it.
Oh no, we've talked about it.
Okay. What does, I mean, if you don't mind my asking, what does the doctor say?
Generally, the opinion is that the side effects will subside as my body continues to enter into homeostasis. So
Neat.
There's going to come a time, maybe in a week, maybe in 2 weeks or something like that, where you're just going to hear like a noise, a very guttural animal noise that settles across all of North America. And when you hear that noise, know that everything is okay.
Johnny, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that update down the line.
Come on, folks, we're on day 10 of Come Watch.
Oh gosh, I wish that could be the title. It just can't. I mean, it could, but I would have to go through like the demonetization appeal thing that I don't like to do.
Star WATCH.
It's a bit much. I'm all right. I'll think about it.
Hey, how about this? Is that you could just like be like, hey, come watch.
Okay, I mean that's definitely the title now. Yeah.
I don't have much to add to this. It's funny listening to you guys talk. I sometimes, and I don't know how rational this is, but I sometimes do kind of wish I didn't have that in my life, because it does feel like it takes up an inordinate amount of my time, like thinking about being a sexual being. And if I didn't have it, I would be more efficient, although that is also a scary thought. I must become efficient.
No, Austin, I'm totally with you. When I was young, when I was like in my teenage years and in my 20s and things like that, I was like, wow, I can't wait until I'm done with this. Until my body just goes, yeah, you're past your prime, that's fine. Like, let's build a boat.
It's a combination of things, too.
I was so ready to go. And I'm almost 40 now, just kind of being like, any day now.
It's not just like, I'd like to build a boat, although I would like to build a boat now. But it's also just like, I don't like the way feeling like that. So I don't like not feeling like I'm in control of my body. So like I've talked before, I don't like drink alcohol or do drugs or anything. It's just, I don't like that feeling. And also I don't like the way sometimes feeling like that has made me treat people, women, I guess. Like most of the bad shit I've done in my life has been on account of that. Like, it's a very selfish feeling, and I don't like that person who I am sometimes. And
I get
it sucks.
I get you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Complicated.
Sorry. Yeah. When I have an erection, I'm always like, why? Like, what do you...
What the fuck do you think you're doing here?
Right, like nothing is going to come of this,
idiot.
This doesn't need to even be happening, and it's usually not for like a specific reason, because I don't like watch pornography. I'm like, yeah, let's get an erection and nothing.
I'm so glad that there's gonna be at least one person who listened to this entire thing and doesn't know why, and they're just sitting there like, I could turn it off. I could turn it off at any time, and then suddenly they have a realization that they're nasty.
I like the idea that people are listening to this, and this is the first episode they've listened to.
Oh, no.
And they're like, wait, Leon doesn't even like boinking? Why am I even watching his show? So...
Yeah, there's
Anyway.
nothing you can really do to prepare you for just the normal dick conversation. Everyone has to have it sometime in their life.
It's,
I guess.
you know,
Yeah.
birds and the bees and normal dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about people who are on like antidepressants and stuff, and it changes their sex drive or the way that they do that stuff. And it's like I can't speak to any experience, but from what I can have seen, like with my friends and stuff, it can be pretty disruptive to people's lives. Like you don't realize like how much the way your body has been most of your life is like a safe ground. Like it's like your comfort zone, and when your body starts changing, it's like everything changes because you are your body, right? Your body chemistry is all you experience.
The shakes fucked me up the most. Like when I went to 10 milligrams, because I was on a lower dose for a couple of weeks, and then it was like, okay, now let's go up to 10 milligrams. I started shaking so bad I couldn't type. And this was like a super huge blow to my identity. Like
especially since you know all the hotkeys.
all the keyboard shortcuts. Like I've had a computer since I was like 6 in like 1986. You know, I play all of my video games on my PC now. Like I don't do consoles anymore. You know, like and. Not being able to write an email or like even just send somebody like an instant message over Skype or something like that was super fucked up. That just like I freaked. That lasted. Those shakes were so bad I couldn't type for about like I had to do like one finger typing and like hold my hand steady with the other one for like a week and a half. And I was just like, I could not imagine having to give that up in the name of trying to get well. It seemed to me like such a step down from what I needed from my life that I could not reconcile with that disability. And I am so glad it's over.
Now you got the new thing, but that'll end, I guess.
I mean, we can hope. Like I said, wait for that animal noise. It will sound like something coming from a valley, even if you live on the plains. There'll just be this weird echo.
Sometimes I think about just like how we're all rotting and dying and life is misery and oh god, why is this the way life is? And then I remember it's a miracle any of us function at all.
Yeah.
Like how? Yeah. How is such complex systems like just self-perpetuating for like 80, 90, 100 years? It's bonkers.
So buy my brand new queso.
Okay. You really right. I bet if you actually started selling like Johnny brand queso and it's like it'll give you normal dick, like we could sell like 10 cases to just like really hardcore word funk fans. I don't know if you break even, but I'm saying
could we call it hard queso?
God damn it.
Okay. I do have another thing I want to talk about. Actually a couple things that might be surprising.
You played a video game.
Yep.
Every time you say, "Oh, it'll shock you," that's all it is.
No, there's two things that will shock you. But the first thing, the most shocking is that yes, I played a video game and I like it, and it's a new video game.
I don't believe
there's no new Mega Man, Leon. It's not out yet.
There's gonna be.
I know it's not out yet.
Yeah. I played Sonic Mania.
Oh yeah.
Which is a Sonic game that feels like an old Sonic game, except it is slightly different and also fun. And that's it.
Made by fans who understood what their original games actually succeeded at, and then just made a game based on that instead of Sonic Team, the Sega people who have no idea what the fuck was fun about the old Sonic games and just keep adding new furries. Which, listen, not a joke about furries. Some people are into it. I know some big the cat stands. I'm not trying to.
Austin, stop digging a hole. We love.
I'm not trying to yuck your yum.
Stick with
I'm just saying.
All right. The point is that it's fun and I enjoy playing it. And that's really the extent of it. I should try to find games that are like that instead of keep trying to say like maybe I'll play The Witcher 2.
Hey, hey,
yeah,
you shut your fucking mouth.
No, I will. I most certainly will not. I can't need to keep trying to like say I'm going to get back into video games. What's the hot new video game right now? I should just play like a fun like kind of like Steam indie game or like a throwback kind of thing.
I think you should play Her Story.
I did play Her Story.
Yeah,
it was fine. I liked it. It was fine.
You should play just more retro platformers if you like Sonic Mania and Mega Man and stuff. Have you played Rayman Legends?
And Papers, Please?
I have. No, I haven't. But these are I'm looking into potentially playing other games once I'm done this game. The game, for some reason, and this is fine. I don't want to like complain. The game when I had game over, because I got pretty far into it before dying, and it said game over. I'm like, oh okay. But it's like a modern game. It saves it so I can just start at that level later. And I try to, and it's like a modern game where I can just keep going and not start from the beginning.
Yeah, it's not unnecessarily punitive.
Yeah, well, I don't know if like, I would call it unnecessarily punitive. I just I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I'm mildly irked by it, but here's the thing. I'm definitely not going to start over. So like,
well, it's like,
so,
I mean,
so what do you want?
The whole punitive mechanism of video games was about longevity. It was about you spend all that money to get a game, and then it was like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to make it easy for you to just like finish it and throw it away and be like, man, I got through it in 2 days or something like that. These days, if a game's just like, fuck you, you can just be like, no, fuck you, I'm just going to play the next game. Because there's tons of them. They're all pretty cheap for the most part. Mm. And if you find something that you don't like or something that, makes you bang your head against a wall, it's really easy just to put it down and go to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sonic Mania sends you back to the beginning of whatever stage you're on, and there's like 2 acts in each stage, so it does send you back some.
Yeah. You have to get through both of the acts in the stage, definitely.
Yeah.
I learned that. But yeah, for the most part, once you pass like through the whole thing, you're good.
I'm not trying to argue against the concept of penalties in games or anything like that. I'm just saying is that the player's mind and the market dictate at this point in time what you're willing to put up with.
Yeah, it reminds me in Fire Emblem, it was permadeath. Whenever one of your soldiers that you like so very much gets knocked out, they're gone forever. And it was such a beloved part of the series that the series almost died. And then they made it optional, and that is now one of Nintendo's best-selling franchises of all time.
XCOM is now the same. You can start a game and be like, we're going to do this Iron Man. We're going to do permadeath. We're going to, any mistakes you have to eat. You're not going to be able to reload.
Yeah, so I'm actually totally in favor of a classic Sonic mode where die 3 times and you go back to Green Hill Zone, but you cut your market, I was going to say in half, but probably down to 10% if you don't give a more modern option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. They also have another thing that just extends games now is there's the game that you buy isn't everything. There's always other little dealies. I just learned right after buying and downloading the thing, is that there is a Sonic Mania Plus, which is coming out in 2 months, where it's the update, I guess, to it that I guess I will have to pay for if I feel like it. So yeah, that's the whole thing. The other thing is that I like a band. So I listen to music a little now, and it's not just vaporwave, which I do listen to all the time, constantly.
Can you guys hear me squinting my eyes, just waiting for the shoe to drop?
It's an Insane Clown Posse, weirdly enough.
No, the band is called Future Teens. It's good. I like it. I've listened to one of their songs, Sleep Schedule, 50 times. in the past couple weeks. It's only 2 minutes long, so when it's done, I'm like, that was great, but it's not enough, so I listened to it a second time. It's very good, and it's nice.
What's the song called?
And Sleep Schedule.
That's a thing Future Teens are very concerned about.
I guess so.
Okay, man. We're gonna vet you right here. I'm gonna listen to Future Teens here. All right.
Okay. Well, Johnny, while you're listening to that music, I'm not going to now. But while we're in Music Corner, which I assume not that many people care about, because we didn't get any comments correcting me when I called Selena Gomez Ariana Grande like a month ago. So.
Oh my.
Anyway, I fucked up. I'm just gonna say that here. Also, have you guys seen this Pusha T Drake feud? These motherfuckers are beefing, and it's the best.
I know that it exists, but I don't know anything about them or why they don't like each other.
Okay, so real quick, and this is actually interesting. I swear to God, please don't turn it off because I'm talking about rappers. So Drake, one of the most popular artists in the world, has basically been using ghostwriters for a while, which is fine. Everyone in the industry does, but he kind of has been fronting like he doesn't. So on Pusha T's new album.
I'm sorry.
Yeah?
It's just something funny about you saying that someone's fronting.
Okay, fair. I mean, listen, Drake is Canadian. He was like a child actor. Like, he also doesn't have this street cred to say pushing sometimes.
No, you're fine. I don't know. Never mind.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Pusha T's new album, Daytona, has a track called Infrared where he calls out one of Drake's ghostwriters by name. So Drake released a diss track, a time-honored tradition in rap, called Duppy Freestyle. Duppy is like slang for like ghost, I believe. Yeah. In it, he calls out Pusha T as like being, not relevant anymore, and he's just trying to start shit with Drake. Drake says he's like going to send him an invoice for the free publicity for his new album, which he did on Twitter. Send him an invoice for, quote, career reviving for, I believe, $200,000 or something. It's pretty savage. But then Pusha T came back with, I wasn't really following this closely until Pusha T responded, because it was the most savage thing I have ever seen.
Quick interstitial.
Yeah.
There's something weird with my sound. I can't get it.
Damn.
I can't get it to work. I will get back to you. Continue.
Okay, so Pusha T fucking murdered Drake in public. Like, he just straight killed him. He released a song called The Story of Adidon, which is, it's kind of, there's backstory to that name. But first, he found a picture of Drake in blackface and used it as the single art. Now, Drake is biracial, but I'm talking about, like, offensive, like, 1920s ass cartoon blackface.
Oh, fuck, that photo is Drake? I've seen that.
Yes.
Oh. Why did he do that?
It was part of some kind of photo shoot he did for some kind of, like, I don't know, avant-garde artist, photographer type. And that photographer guy had it in his portfolio. It wasn't published anywhere else. Pusha T or his crew found it. They dug up dirt on the dude. They went hard on him, found this picture of him in blackface, and it has since been removed from the public portfolio, obviously. So that's the first part. The second part is in the song, Pusha T calls out Drake for having a secret child that he has abandoned and shunned the mother of the child because she's a porn star and basically is a deadbeat dad who doesn't respect his baby mama or his child.
Well,
and also
he only loves his mom in his bed.
And he talks about his mom. He talks about his fucking ghostwriters. He murdered Drake. Drake is dead.
Wait a minute. Is any of this true?
Yes.
Oh, well,
but he went private eye. He found all this shit. He dug up an old photo nobody knew existed. He went, like, deep into the fucking shit like some kind of noir detective and came back. Someone's saying he should start, like, a true crime podcast where he details his investigation. He killed him. It was so fucking wild. This doesn't happen. Last time people beefed this hard, like, it was Biggie and Tupac, and they both died. For real.
Okay, well, wait. Well, what has Drake said in response to this? Has he admitted to any of this, or is he saying that it's not true, or what? Because I genuinely do not know.
I thought he hasn't released a song, which is the way that this feud has actually been playing out, mostly on Twitter and in songs. But I mean, at some point, like, the baby mama tweeted, like, deadbeat ass Drake or something. Like, it appears to be true is the thing. I don't know if there's been an actual response because I don't follow Drake on Twitter.
And why not, Austin?
I don't know.
Of the three of us, that seems like it should be your role.
Oh, I guess the real reason is because I don't like Drake. I don't think I don't think his music is good. Is my main sticking point. There's another wrinkle in this, which is Pusha T's album was produced by Kanye West, and Kanye West has a verse on one of his songs in which he says, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but will wearing a MAGA hat mean I don't get pulled over by the cops? And so people think it's like the next level in his performance art, basically, and I don't know if that's true, but there's like that element to it, because Drake also calls out Kanye West because Drake worked on Father Stretch My Hands on Kanye West's Life of Pablo. So there's like all this fucking feuding, and he's like, really gonna call me out? Dude, you literally came to me to work on your last album. Who the fuck are you dissing? I wrote your shit. It's wild. Like, this is the real Game of Thrones, motherfuckers. Like, it's happening.
Okay.
It's good.
That's neat.
And then Kim Kardashian met with President Trump, and they solved immigration.
That is, well, half of that statement is actually true. And I really hope future history textbooks just have that picture on the front and no text. It's just Kim Kardashian and Donald Trump in the White House, and school children will be like, really? This is... So you really wanted to have children, huh, Mom? This is what you... This is the world you brought me into. Cool. Cool stuff. Oh, God.
Okay.
What else you got?
That's all I've got. I mean, I have like other things, but like it's still cooking, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a thing about ICE, but all I'll say about ICE is that I'm glad everyone is caught up to me, where we're not only are we saying abolish ICE, but maybe even prosecute them. I don't want to get into a deep thing about that. I just want to say I'm glad that it's no longer like an extreme position. So there's that. I'm sad that it took so much shit for people to realize that, though, and that's all I want to say about that. So I don't get too sad.
The hypothetical question I would ask people if they don't think ICE should be abolished is, how many people need to die in our secret police custody before you'd be against it? Is there a number, or is it just there's just no limits? Because theoretically, there would be, I would think for most people, there would be a number of people who would need to die in secret police custody before we would be against it. My number has been crossed. I'm just curious what everyone else's number is. Yeah. My number was 1, by the way.
Yeah, it's almost like people who don't have like legal status in America, and get split up from their families and then like redistributed around the land or something. God, I wish that there was like some historical American corollary. I just can't think of anything.
You know, when you first learn about World War II in history class in like 3rd grade, and you're like, how could anybody follow the bad guys? And it's like, well, they just told everyone they were the good guys, and people just...
I would have gotten up and fought that shit. MAGA!
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing about ICE is that it's comparatively new. It's not like this ancient thing that we've always had.
Look, Leon, it's a historic American tradition dating as far back as maybe a few weeks ago.
Like the national anthem at football events, it is a time-honored tradition. George Washington stood for the anthem.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Flanked by ICE. Yeah. Agents.
But in all seriousness, like ICE came about in 2003. We used to have the INS, which was not without its problems, but it was handled by different departments. I looked this up because I was curious. It was handled at first by the Treasury Department, and then by the Labor Department, and then by the Department of Justice. All departments that like you would think, okay, this makes sense. That's not.
Just so we can put this in perspective, okay? ICE as a 15-year-old institution, and me as a 38-year-old man, I have probably spent more time masturbating than the time ICE has existed.
Yeah, and then ICE happened in 2003, but ICE isn't part of the Department of Justice or Labor or anything like that. It's in the Department of Homeland Security, so it is a vaguely militarized institution just due to association.
I love the term vaguely militarized because I was walking to the grocery store the other day and a fucking armored helicopter flew over me, and there was an armored car, like, depot, I don't know what you would call it, like near my house.
An APC depot or something?
I'm just saying, like, every like county in America has like military hardware in it at any time, which is funny because people are very concerned that not having a shotgun will not let them fight the government.
Okay.
But in fairness, Austin, like, we might have to just shoot at the libs.
Oh my god. So this has been fun for an hour, but we should probably do questions.
We should do questions in a bit. I didn't ask for them this week because we haven't left over from last week when we did not record. But I have like 100 things on my list here that we didn't get to, so I just want to hit one real quick.
All right.
Because it's just before it's not fresh in my mind anymore. I saw Deadpool 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wasn't planning on it. It's just my friends went, and I just went with them.
Now, just quickly as a preface, what did you think of the first one?
I thought it was fine, maybe bordering on good. Like, I wasn't actually expecting that much going into it because it's a Fox superhero movie, but it was funny, and I really liked the leads. They had really great chemistry. And they really seemed to be into each other, which is rare. This is a weird thing about heterosexuality, is most of its depictions in media are incredibly toxic. It seems like everyone who, quote-unquote, loves each other actually hates each other, or they never actually hook up. It's weird. We have weird feelings about, I guess, women, really. But, yeah. To talk about Deadpool 2, I actually do need to get into some spoilers. Can we put, like, a warning here or something?
Yeah, warning, if you don't want to hear Deadpool 2 spoilers, just go ahead a few minutes. We're not going to spend, I don't think, too much time on this.
No. So, like, my overall thoughts was it's a very funny movie. I laughed a lot. I liked it. But one of the things it did very early on, this is, like, literally, like, the second scene of the movie, is it kills off the love interest.
Yep, they fridged her.
They didn't even, it wasn't really even a wink and a nod. Like, they joke about how, like, oh, shocking, can you believe we did that? But they don't really even address the fact that this is the most well-worn, most criticized trope in comic books. They just kind of do it straight-faced.
Yeah, this is in fact, it was the most serious part of the entire movie. Like, there was no, like, moment where Deadpool was like, I can't believe we're doing this.
Yeah, you'd think.
They just did it.
So... I understand why, because Deadpool is a selfish character, and you need something to motivate him to do heroism, and, like, the whole movie, the core of the movie is him having, like, a father-son relationship with this other guy, and he was going to have a child with his love interest. I get, like, structurally how her death ties the movie together, but it's a weak-ass twist. It is, like, that's why everyone does it, is because it's so easy. It's such
it's also to me, I mean, you say that it was like the catalyst for something, but or whatever, but to me, like, it didn't need to happen. I mean, he doesn't need to be motivated to protect a child from dying. That didn't need to, like, there didn't need to be, like, a tragic moment where he's like, time to get my shit serious.
Yeah.
It could have, how do I put this? They could have not done that, and almost the entire movie could have played out exactly the same way.
Almost. So I could see someone...
The thing about Deadpool is that you could basically justify him into doing anything the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Because that's Deadpool. He can just fuck it.
But I could see the screenwriter, someone saying, like, hey, can we remove this? And the screenwriter saying, like, no, it's the emotional core of the movie. The whole movie is him trying to get over this, and then there's a big climax.
I'm sorry, but she is mostly forgotten throughout a lot of the movie. To me, the emotional core of the movie is the relationship between Deadpool and the child.
Which is kind of, frankly, the weakness of the movie. Because the kid is unlikable. Mostly on purpose, but...
I don't feel that way, but okay, fair enough.
It's weird because I actually think this is a really, really funny movie, and I had a lot of fun during it. But it's such a bad move. It's such a cheap, like, shitty move to kill off, like, the love interest, like, with no other context. Like, that's just by itself. But then you pile on top the fact that they had such amazing chemistry. They really seemed to be into each other. It was just like a loving relationship. Like,
Morena Baccarin was so great in the first one.
Which, okay, I should be clear. There is an after credit scene where they bring her back.
Yeah.
Which apparently was added after test audiences fucking hated the fact that they didn't. That's my understanding, at least. It also kind of breaks the fiction, because, like, Cable explains we can't use time travels like that, and then he just does, because fuck it.
Yeah, well, you don't understand. Negasonic twisted the thing, and now it does whatever.
Which is also a reshoot, I believe.
Yeah, also another thing that ruins... I mean, look, it's a Deadpool movie, but now this exists in its universe, so, like, you can everything. Never mind. Yeah, it solves everything.
Next movie they need to have a scene where first of all they say like, oh, where'd the time travel thing go? Deadpool is like, oh, I stuck it up my butt, it's gone. And the second thing they need to do is have someone turn to the camera and say, T.J. Miller isn't in this one. He called it a fake bomb threat. He's dead in universe.
What I was actually hoping they would do, because they didn't really... basically, doing reshoots for T.J. Miller would be very difficult.
Disastrous.
So having to, like, redo a whole lot of scenes all of a sudden for this movie... it was very, very costly when they did that with Kevin Spacey in a different film. It was perhaps, I guess, in the minds of the studio, way too costly for this movie. And whatever, fine. But here's the thing: they could have. Here's what it would be great if they just put a big blue dot over his face.
And I have Deadpool be like, Dottie, you're my new best friend.
Right. They did, like, they could really lean into the fact that he shouldn't be in this movie, or like just have like a CG stick figure just be in his place and have like anyone else play the part. Also, frankly,
his performance wasn't that good. I think he was very funny in the first one, but I think frankly he brought like his B game in this one.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot for him to do, so I feel I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, there were ways they could have addressed that, but I guess they threw up their arms and said, "Fuck it, the movie's done." Whatever. Almost certainly he will not be in X Force, which is the next one apparently.
There also needs to be a subplot, or I say subplot. There really needs to be like a 30-minute section of Deadpool 3/X-Force, which is just Negasonic Teenage Warhead and her girlfriend getting screen time and development and things to do.
Yeah. When I finished watching it, I said it was good. My only real complaint was not enough Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
That's how I feel about most of my weekdays, though, to be honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, spoilers ending. Unless anyone has something real quick to say.
I just really like things which show people actually in love. There's a lot of love stories, and most of them are about people who hate each other until the last minute. And it's just a fucking bummer. Can we just have happy couples? I don't know.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine does a happy couple throughout it. By the way, already on season 5. I just burned through this thing.
It's such a good show.
It is. I do like it. It's also just nice. I love the best thing about the show is the fact that the only person on the show who says "cuck" is the worst character. So just to let everyone know that this is the bad thing to say. So thank you for that. Cool. Now, do you want to do questions?
Do I want to?
You don't have to. If you just want to go through your entire list, we can also do that.
Throw what you got, Austin.
Now,
that is typically what we do, but it's up to you.
Our listeners were nice enough to send in questions. I'll read them. Fine. If you're twisting my arm, God.
Yep, it is. I am the host of this show. You know.
All right. So I love how dated these questions are, and it really shows how fast the news cycle are, because we got questions about the Yanni and Laurel. I don't know if it's a meme. Do you guys know about this thing?
Yeah, I listened to it and I heard one thing, and then someone explained that there's like science reasons, and then I said, okay, fine, and I'm done with it. It's not a magic trick; it's just stuff, frequency and stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to do a deep dive into this? Because I was over it pretty quickly.
Don't care.
Yeah,
it was like it's like frequency stuff. It's not a big deal.
I just think it's funny how fast everything moves. It was like if we were to record it last week, it would have been like a whole section on the show, and this week it's like old news. Don't care.
Yeah.
All right, so first question, Dr. Izix asks, if things like funding were not an issue, would you run for public office? And if so, what office would you run for?
No, I like my job.
So it's purely
do
you want to be Renegade cut. Not that you don't think you would make a good X-checker or whatever.
No, I like hosting Renegade Cut. I am not Renegade Cut in the same way that Bob Barker is not The Price is Right.
I refer to you in conversation as Renegade Cut.
know.
I say, my friend Renegade Cut.
Oh my God, please don't. It's like the opposite of what I want to happen. I know that's how you're doing it. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, I like my job. I don't want to have a different job. I was thinking the other day, like, how much money would it take for me to not do this career anymore? And I couldn't think of it because I don't know if I would be as satisfied personally doing something else, even if I had a lot of money.
Oh, well, la-dee-da. Somebody's living his best life over here.
Yep, So, like, if for some reason I couldn't do online video anymore, and funding were not an issue, would I run for public office? Probably not, because there's a lot of so yeah. No, I wouldn't. I don't want to be that scrutinized. Thank you.
Speaking of finding things from people's past, do you guys know about the Video Rental Protection Act? I don't know if this was before your time.
This seems like an interesting segue, but take me by the hand and lead me down a dark path, Austin.
Well, we still have to answer this question, me and Johnny, so I won't spend too much time on it. But actually, it's called the Video Privacy Protection Act. I just looked it up. So back when people rented videos from Blockbuster and such, I don't know our audience's age if you guys remember Blockbuster. But people were renting videos all the time. That's how we watched stuff. And there was a Supreme Court nomination for a judge named Robert Bork. And people who didn't want Robert Bork to be Supreme Court justice went to Blockbuster and found his rental history, and they published it to smear him, although it was, frankly, not salacious. I don't remember what was in it, but it was not. He wasn't like looking at porn. It was just like regular ass movies.
Yeah. Okay.
But Congress freaked out because they realized, oh no, anyone can just look up our rental history, and so they passed the Video Privacy Protection Act, which makes it a crime to do that, to look up someone's their tape rental history. So that's a crime in the United States of America, which shows you how power works, right? They're like, oh no, people are going to look at a specific thing about us overnight. There's an act. So don't say Congress can't get stuff done. They absolutely can when properly motivated. It's just it's a weird thing because nowadays nobody rents shit from Blockbuster. Although I think
Redbox still exists.
What? Redbox? Yeah.
Redbox still exists, I think.
I think the law...
I've seen one.
The law actually does cover Redbox, I believe. It has been interpreted to do so. Through court precedent, it was not written in such a way, because this was in 1988.
Okay.
Last weird fact about that, the guy's name was Robert Bork. And Bork, to Bork something, has kind of entered the lexicon. That's like a thing people say, like, oh, you really borked that, like, fucked it up. So, if you've ever heard that, that's where that's from.
Yep. Johnny, I feel like you were the only one who didn't go into this. Would you run for public office in Canada?
Oh, fuck yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a yes on this.
Yeah.
What would you want to do, and why?
Well, this is the thing, is that I don't think I would win.
Okay.
Because of your salacious video rental history.
No, are you guys familiar with the Dead Kennedys?
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
let me rephrase that. I'm familiar with the T-shirt.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm familiar with their discography.
So, do you guys know that lead singer Jello Biafra ran for mayor of San Francisco in 1979?
I did not.
He has a lot of songs about Governor Jerry Brown. Was that his name?
Yeah.
So I'm vaguely familiar.
But, so he ran for mayor in 1979, and had such policies as forcing business executives who earned like a certain amount of money had to wear clown suits within city limits. Mm-hmm. He wanted to set up a bribe office in City Hall to make sure that all bribes were regulated and kept well within specific strictures that that the city was comfortable doing. Legalization of people squatting in buildings that belong to like tax evading organizations, and like police officers having to run for election and shit like that. That's the kind of campaign that I would run, I think.
Yeah, and that would own. Is Jello Biafra problematic? Because I was about to say I fucking love Dead Kennedys, and then I'm in the world we are. I'm afraid to get milkshake ducked at every possible turn.
I don't know. I haven't I haven't heard anything terrible about him yet.
Okay, in my mind he is still Nazi punks fuck off, and that's where I am. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Nazi punks, fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay. I do know that song, but only because I saw the movie Green Room.
Yes. A very good movie, a very good song, and a very good band.
He's also like kind of like single-handedly responsible for us getting Wesley Willis, I think, more or less. Because
I don't know what that means.
Alternative Tentacles was his record label. And do you not know Wesley Willis?
Nope.
Wesley Willis was I'm gonna recall because it's been a while since I've listened to any of his music or watched the documentary about him, but I believe he was a Chicago resident who had schizophrenia.
Oh yeah, you told me about this before. Sorry.
Yeah, and he would write his own songs, chiefly almost all of his songs were like he would buy keyboards and then hit like the demo tracks.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yes. It's been like 2 years, but yes, I do recall this. Thank you.
Yeah, and it was like it was like singing music and doing shows and being Wesley Willis was like the one thing that kind of kept him alive. Like it meant so much to him. And I mean, he wrote some pretty fucking amazing songs that you would never ever hear anybody else sing. Like I whooped Batman's ass.
Yeah, that's I bet that's still in our Skype chat somewhere.
yeah, somewhere. So like I think Jello Biafra is still. I think he's still okay.
Huh. I mean, how could the person who wrote the song "Kill the Poor" not be fucking woke? Obviously, a tongue-in-cheek song about social policies. Next question. I've answered that one before, right? Is that what we've all? I don't know. Icarox asks to Austin, but anyone else can join in. Now that you know more about law, what bit of knowledge about law do you feel has changed your perspective the most regarding law practice? First of all, have I changed any of your guys' minds? Have you learned anything?
In the words of David Bowie, money, 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 money.
I always assumed that, but having like more like proof in front of me is always good.
Yeah. So I would say it has strengthened and confirmed a lot of things. The thing that has been most drastic in my understanding, the most drastic change, has really been in the processes. So when you hear about a court case taking like 4 years, right? You're just like, oh, this thing that someone filed a lawsuit, and then you don't hear about it for like a decade or whatever, and you think, what the fuck are they doing? They're getting paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to sit on their asses. What's going on? Why does this take so long? And it's just a lot is the answer. Like there's so many steps, so many processes, so many things you can file, so many just like discovery and all kinds of writs and hearings and depositions. It's just like they are doing stuff. It's just everything is drudgery, but it's also very important because all those steps are about accountability and evidence and keeping people from getting away with shit. And it is actually super necessary. So for me, one thing I really understand is like why things take so long, and I'm actually surprised they don't take longer sometimes because some of these cases are so fucking complicated. Like they have to rent warehouses and fill them with boxes full of paperwork. And like now we're moving into digital age, that's probably going to go away, or at least be, diminished. But it's just so much work. And maybe that's part of like, now I have to do that work and I'm sad, but it's just a lot. And I can actually knock out another thing on my list here, which is I watched a Netflix original show called Mastermind. Have you guys seen this?
Nope.
No, it's on my list. I get it mixed up with Mindhunter. That's the one about the Unabomber, is that right?
So it's a bomber. So what's funny is this show was recommended to me by someone else who said it was good, and I watched it, and then I realized, like partway through the first episode, that I had heard of this. The show is about a specific case, and the case is somebody put a bomb collar on someone else and sent them in to rob a bank. And the person like robbed the bank, took the money, and then the police stopped them. And the plan was for the person to say, I have a bomb, let me go, and then to go back to the mastermind. But the police just said, like, no, sit down. And so the person had to sit down, and then the bomb went off and blew their head off. And I guess content warning, they do show it in the show. This is a real thing that happened. So yeah, it's a good show and I recommend it, but also there's that. But I remember this came up in one of my classes, not the whole salacious event, which is actually very complicated and takes like 4 hours. The show is like, I think 4 50-minute episodes or something. But the thing that came up was like coercion in criminal liability. So like if someone puts a gun to your head and says like, do a crime, and you do the crime, are you liable? Like that's the context it came up in, and it was only like a couple sentences, right? It's very narrowly touched on. But so first of all, the show is good. It's really interesting. This crime was like really complicated and salacious, and there's a lot of things like it happened when I was alive, I think, but I don't really remember it. It like made the news and it was like a big thing. It was like this weird bomb or robbery plot, and there's like another murder, and it's a whole thing. The show is good and interesting. But to bring it back around to the question, one of the things that has changed in my perspective of law is all the processes. And the thing about this case was they had the evidence to get the people involved from the very beginning, and it took years to bring charges because there's just so much to sift through. Like literally there's a very important thing they had, and it just got left in a desk somewhere because like there's hundreds of people working on this case, and there's just thousands of pieces of evidence, and like shit gets complicated. Like sometimes I can't find my phone. Where is it? Under my bed? Did I leave it in the kitchen? Like, but with that, except murder evidence, it happens a lot. And the fact that anyone ever gets arrested and prosecuted for complicated crimes is kind of a miracle. Like most murders are committed by people who knew them, so they just interview, like, it's usually the boyfriend or the husband. That's who does most murders, right? And so they just get that guy. But like the 1% that aren't, the fact that we ever get that guy is crazy, because what are you going to do? If I just ran down the street and shot somebody and then ran away, like how are they going to find me? It's bananas. Anyway.
Well, that was like the Washington sniper. I mean, you guys are old enough to remember that, right?
Yeah, I do.
Of course.
The guy who like drove around the Washington D.C. area in a van with his son, and they would just shoot strangers.
Yeah, and usually the way they get those people is they fuck up by being like too obvious, because they're not sophisticated criminals, right? Like they're just assholes, and they do some shit. Actually, how did they get caught? Do you remember?
I don't recall.
No.
I mean, I remember that as it was happening. But I don't remember
from what I remember, I think it was like a tip-off line. Yeah. Like somebody called the authorities about a van that was like casing a gas station or something like that.
Oh, you know what? That's also like, okay, so 99% of the time it's the boyfriend, and the other 1% it's usually something like that. That's literally what happens in Mastermind, is someone calls the cops and just narcs.
It says, these black people are having a barbecue.
Oh my God.
You joke? The bomber literally said, some black people put this collar on me. Which is, I mean, spoilers for the show, not true. So,
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry that took a long time, but I just gave a TV show review, and I answered a question, and I taught you stuff about legal processes. So,
what was the show called again?
Mastermind, I believe.
Mastermind.
Yeah. Next question. JJ Hernandez asks, best Disney musical scene. Leon, you're our Disney expert, so.
Yeah. I really love pretty much the whole setup and conclusion, I guess, of Part of Your World. because not only like the first part, but then there's a reprise later where it's like, oh, okay, it's locked in. Now we know what she's going to do, because we had a reprise of her big "I Want" song. So that is very good. Ooh.
I gotta jump in right here. One jump ahead in Aladdin.
Fuck. I was thinking. Yeah. I was trying to decide which Aladdin song I was gonna say.
It's one jump ahead because it's so kinetic. It's comedic. It does a great job of introducing the character and setting the scene. It's a catchy song.
Yeah. Visually, Friend Like Me is also very good.
Damn it! Okay, hold on. I'll get a third one.
Whole New World is also good.
Prince Ali. Got it in there.
They're all good.
Yeah, Aladdin
They're all
owns.
good. Yeah, it's a very good movie. So yeah, I'm into it, and they're all good scenes. There are Beauty and the Beast. Just that song, visually, that's a very strong scene. Like they did a lot of I can't remember exactly how they did it, but I think it was in addition to regular stuff. They tried to do some computer generated junk, which they also did in Aladdin, but it wasn't in one of the scenes, one of the music scenes. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
Be Prepared. Lion King is. I really like it. I like the way he doesn't really sing. He just kind of Jeremy Irons.
Listen to how cool my voice sounds. And then it's not Jeremy Irons towards the end. They had to replace him for some reason, and it's a different person doing a Jeremy Irons impression. I just can't remember. I think it's Jim Cummings.
I didn't notice that. That's wild. I've seen that 1,000 times. Weird.
Someone did a video where he says, "Here's exactly where Jim Cummings comes in," and you can notice a slight difference, but I can't remember exactly what it is. But yeah, and by the way, if I'm wrong about it being Jim Cummings, I apologize. I just remember it was someone who was not Jeremy Irons. I'm gonna look it up right now because it's gonna bug me.
Also, I like how there's just volcanic activity in the African savannah during that sequence and nowhere else.
By the way, yeah, I just looked it up. I wrote Scar and then J in Google, and Jim Cummings came right up. So yes, Jim Cummings as Scar in yeah. Jim Cummings also when in this will be fun for video game people. Jeremy Irons does not come back to do to be Scar in video games, but Jim Cummings does. So in Kingdom Hearts 2, that's
which we have all played.
I have,
of course. Yeah,
shut up, you weeb.
No,
that's oh my god, that's him and not Jeremy Irons. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done with that. Any other questions?
Wait, so if Roseanne was on ABC and ABC is owned by Disney, can Roseanne be in Kingdom Hearts 3?
Just stop. Immediately.
Sora, the immigrants are coming across the border. We have to stop them.
We can dream, Austin. We can dream.
Oh my god. Okay. Fuck. Okay, hold on. I'm building an entire alternate universe where Kingdom Hearts is racist in my mind, and it's the worst. Actually, it might not be as bad as normal Kingdom Hearts, though.
She could be a villain.
Yeah.
Maybe one more question.
Oh god, are we that low in time? Okay, so I don't know anything about this. Hopefully this question makes sense. Bronte Bourne asks, who does Leon think will be in the top 3 of Drag Race? That's a TV show.
Yeah, it is. I'm pulling for Eureka. I have been since the beginning. Eureka was on last season. Well, the last regular season, not the All-Star seasons. And she hurt herself. She got injured and had to leave the competition halfway through. And this season, Eureka is back and doing really, really well. And I think Eureka will be in the top 3. It's hard to really say who else. To me, that seems like the most likely. I thought that the Vixen was going to be in the top 3 because the Vixen is so great at basically when you're in the bottom 2 and you're up for elimination, you have to lip sync and dance. You have to, and in this way, RuPaul will judge you worthy or not of continuing on in the competition. And the Vixen is by far the best of that. So I fear like no matter how bad she does in the competitions, she'll always lip sync really well and then get saved. But apparently and I'm glad because the Vixen is mean. So this is all nonsense to anyone who doesn't watch the show. It's tough for me to say exactly who it's going to be, but I am pulling for Eureka. I'll just say that.
Okay, another quick one. Boss asks, thoughts on the bullshit the NFL pulled? So we've talked about this a couple times, but there's been a recent development. The NFL has issued a new rule that if you're going to be on the field during the national anthem, you need to stand. If you want to kneel, you have to do so in the locker room, which defeats the purpose of a demonstration. And if you don't comply with that, you're going to be fined. The New York Jets, I believe the owner, maybe have been the coach, has already come out and said that if any of the players get fined, he will pay that for them, which rules. I don't have any affection for the Jets organizations, but that is a classy move, standing up for your players. The rule itself, in addition to just being bullshit, may actually be illegal. Because it circumvents the collective bargaining agreement that happened recently, and also because Trump was involved, there's something called the state action doctrine, which means that Trump behaves as if he is not president of the United States, but he is. He is the government. He is the man, and so the things he does are the things the government does. And this is an actual kind of thing about what counts as state action. It's complicated. I won't get into it. But if it's a court could determine that he influenced this decision with all his tweets, then this might be a First Amendment issue. Because the NFL is not the government. They can tell their players whatever they want. They can have policies. That's fine. But if they had to bow to the pressure of the president of the United States, that's interfering with free speech. People talk about censorship a lot on the internet.
Yeah,
and
they sure do.
Motherfuckers don't know what it means. It's not when someone says, hey, that thing you said was bad. It's when the government punishes you for speech it doesn't like. And Trump is the government, which is something that gets lost a lot. I think we think of him all as like this weird racist grandpa we all have to deal with. He is the commander-in-chief of the United States of America and their armed forces. He is the terrifying... he's a mass murderer now, as all presidents are. So, that's something that's easy to forget for some reason. But the new NFL rule is racist garbage. Maybe wouldn't stand up in court. I don't know if it's going to go to court. And anybody who's watching the NFL needs to seriously look inside themselves and ask if that's where what you want to support. I don't want to have the art and the artist conversation again, but I'm not watching the NFL anymore.
I think the most favorite thing I saw on the subject was a tweet, and it was a picture of someone, and you'll get the joke in a second here. It was like, RT if you believe that your politics shouldn't be involved where you are in your workplace, like in the NFL, and whoops, we accidentally used an image of Kim Davis.
Yeah.
Wow. I think she's still literally going through appeals on her case now. I can't believe that was ever a thing. Anyway, I don't want to go too far into sports. I know people in our listenership don't particularly care, but it actually is weirdly political. Not weirdly, everything's political, but in the sense that it looms large over our politics. It's something to be conscious of. 2018 blows.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I can't remember a year that I actually enjoyed.
2013? Was that the year The Walking Dead came out, the first one? The Telltale game?
Kind of depends on... Never mind. All right.
Setting the bar high there, Austin.
Yeah.
Setting it high.
Yeah. Partially humor.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you guys want to say before we go?
New Father John Misty album on Friday.
All right.
You guys care? I feel like that's one thing we share.
Nothing I want to say.
Is it?
Do we not?
All right.
Whatever.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to a new Father John Misty album, but yeah, that just ended on a sad note for me.
Okie dokie. Let's leave.
That's what we say. That's our famous sign-off line. Let's leave.
Now
It's the Nashville country corner. All the low are getting high. And Billy tells his tale again to anyone who'll buy. With waving arms and rolling eyes, he screams to the drunken throng, I've whipped the devil and lived through hell, now who's gonna sing my song? Then from out the shadows comes an oily voice, Hey kid, I like your moves. And out of the back slides a little wizened cat with brown and white perforated wingtip shoes. Sleazo's the name, the little man says, but I'm scuzzy to my friends, and I think I got a little business proposition you just might be interested in. Scuzzy Sleazo himself, Billy Markham says. Man, you're a legend in these woods. You never cut the devil down, but you done near damn as good. Why, since I've been old enough to jack, I've been hearing your greasy name. It's an honor to meet an all-star, Scuzz. Just where you setting up your game? No more games for me, says Scuzzy. I'm too old and too slow for the pace. So I'm the world's greatest hustler's agent now. And Billy, I've been studying your case. I seen your first match with the devil, says Scuzz. It was a Volkswagen Mack truck collision. And your second shot, well, you showed me a lot, but you got burned by a hometown decision. And I says to myself, he can go all the way with the proper guidance, of course. He's got the heart, and with a few more smarts, he'd be an irresistible force. Yeah, I can teach you the tricks and show you the shticks just like a hustler's training camp. And I'll bring you on slow, then a prelim or so, then powie! A shot at the champ. The champ, says Billy Markham. Now who in God's name is that? Why, God himself, says Scuzzy Sleazo. You know anybody more champ than that? Hey, a match with God, Billy Markham gasps. And what would be the purse? Why, a place in heaven, of course, says Scuzz, instead of living this Nashville curse. But I'll drive you like a wagon, son, and I'll sweat you like a Turk. All for 50% of the take? Now shake, and let's get to work. Now the scene shifts to the funky pool hall known as the Crystal Q. And the time is 3 months later, and the smoke is thick and blue, and the emerald cloth is stained with tears and blood and ketchup spots, as a fat old man with a dirty white beard stands practicing 3-cushion shots. Hey, what are we doing here, says Billy to Scuzz. I've been taught and I've been trained, and I don't need no more prelims. I am primed for the big, big game. Well, son, says the old man, sinking the 4, why don't you pick yourself out of queue and... Hey, Santa Claus, Billy Markham snaps back. Wasn't nobody talking to you. If you look close, whispers Scuzzy to Bill, you'll see his cue is a lightning rod. And he ain't no Santa, and he ain't Fat Daddy. You just showed your ass to God. Well, hey, excuse me, Lord, says Bill. I didn't mean to be uncool. But it sure can shake a fella's faith to find God hustling pool. Well, where did you expect to find me, says God? On a throne with cherubs around? Well, I do that 5 days and nights a week, and on the 6th night, I get down. And on the 7th night, I suppose you rest, says Billy Markham with a grin. Never mind you about the 7th night, says God. Besides, that lady is just a friend. And anyway, you didn't come here just to drag my image down. You're right about that, Lord, Billy says. I come to take your crown. Beg your pardon, Lord, says Scuzzy Sleazo. I don't mean no disrespect, but when you're dealing with my boy, don't speak to him direct. I'm his agent and consultant. Scuzzy Sleazo is the name. Premier promotional artist representative of the whole street hustlin' game. Card sharps, loan sharks, pimps, punks, and car parks have handled the best of the lot. And my new boy here, he just whipped the devil. Now we're looking for a title shot. Beat the devil, you say, laughs God. Well, I take my hat off to him. Let him hang up his mouth and pick out a cue, and he'll get the shot that's due him. Any game he names, any table he's able, any price he can afford. Straight pool for heaven, says Billy Markham. Straight pool it is, says the Lord. Crack! Billy Markham wins the break and busts him cool and clean. The 5-ball falls, he sinks the 7, and then drops the 13. He makes the 9, comes off the cushion, and puts the 6 away. Bags the 3 and the 8 on a triple combination, and wins the first game on a smooth masse. He takes the next game, the next, and when he does finally miss, he dusts the blue off his hands, and his game score stands at 1-3-7-6. "Well, my turn at last," says the Lord, chalking up. "Son, you sure shoot a wicked stick. I'll need some luck to beat a run like that is, without resorting to miracles or tricks." "Hey, trickin' be damned," Billy Markham laughs. "Tonight I'm as hot as a flame. So I laugh at your tricks, and I sneer at your stick, and I take your name in vain." "Oh," goes the crowd that's been gathering around. "Oh," goes the rack boy in wonder. "Oh," says Scuzzy Sleezo, "I think you just made a slight tactical blunder." "Oh," says God, "you shouldn't have said that, son. You shouldn't have said that at all." And his cue cracks out like a thunderbolt, spitting a flaming ball. It sinks everything on the table. Then it zooms up off the green, through the dirty window with a crash of glass, and into the wind like a woman's scream. Out of the pool hall, up through the skies, the cue ball gleams and swirls, busting in and out of every pool game in the whole goddamn world. It strikes on every table. It crashes every rack. And every pool ball in creation comes rebounding back. Back through the window they tumble and crash. Down through the ceiling they spin. 1,000,000 balls rain down on the table, and every one goes in. "Now there," says Scuzzy Sleezo, "is a shot you don't see every day. Lord, you should have an agent to handle your press and build up the classier play. My partnership with this sucker here has come to a termination. But God and Scuzzy Sleezo, hey, that would be a combination." Meanwhile, the cue ball, flying back last like a sputterin' fizzlin' rocket, goes weaving dizzily down the cushion and plunk, falls right in the pocket. "Scratch," says Billy Markham. "You said you could shoot." "Scratch," murmurs the crowd of hangers and hustlers. "At last we've seen it all." "Scratch," mutters the Lord. "I guess I put a little too much English on the ball. Just another imperfection. I never quite get it on the button. Tell you what, son, I'll spot you 3,000,000 balls and play you one more, double or nothing." "Double what?" says Billy Markham. "I already got you whipped like a child, and I won my seat in heaven. Now I'm gonna sit in it a while." "Hit and run, chicken shit," sneers God. "You said you was the best. Turns out you're just a get-lucky, play-it-safe pussy like all the rest." "Whoa, whoa," says Billy. "There's something in that voice I know quite well." And he reaches out and yanks off God's white beard, and there stands the devil himself. "You said you was God," Billy Markham cries. "You conned me and hustled me, too." "I am God sometimes, and sometimes I'm the devil, good and bad, just like you. I'm everything and everyone in perfect combination, and everybody but you knows that there ain't no separation. But go ahead," sighs God, scribbling something down. "Give this note to the angel on the wall, and you sit up there and plunk your harp. Hey, anybody want to shoot some 8-ball? And cold and white and trembling, Billy walks out into the night, where a golden staircase stretches all the way to paradise. And he grips the glittering balustrade and begins his grand ascent. "Just a minute, good buddy," yells Scuzzy Sleezo. "How about my 50%? I helped you win the championship, and you wouldn't do old Scuzzy wrong. And since the purse is a seat in heaven, you just gotta take me along." "Just 1 minute," says Billy Markham. "There's something weird going on in this game. All the voices that I'm hearing start to soundin' just the same." And he rips off Scuzzy Sleezo's face, and the devil's standing there. "Good God," yells Billy Markham. Are you everywhere?" "Yes, I am," the devil says. "And don't look so damn surprised. I thought you could smuggle me into heaven wearing my sleazy disguise. Course I could have walked in as Jehovah, but it just wouldn't have been the same. But you and your corny Dick Tracy bit, you had to ruin my fantasy game. Go on, climb up your golden stairs, enjoy your paradise. But don't rip your own face off, Bill, or you might get a shocking surprise. Then up the golden stairway, Billy Markham dizzily winds his way, and high above him he can hear his own songs being played. And down below, hear Scuzzy Sleezo curse his name, to the click, click, click of the pool balls, as God hustles another game.